Hi, good evening. So I wanted to talk to you guys about putting some safeguards in place for your kids. If your kids are like mine, they love this thing. They would be on their phone 24/7 if we would allow them to be. And unfortunately, we don't always know who they're talking to, what they're viewing when they're on devices. So I find this slide very overwhelming to know all of the apps that are out there and all of the things that our kids can find just by speaking into their phone or typing into their phone. It's sad at this point. Next slide. So I want to go over three main programs or softwares that we can put on our children's devices to help them stay in a safe area and put some boundaries in place. The first one I'm going to go over is screen time. So if you're an Apple user, screen time is free, and it is something that I love. It helps me regulate how often and how much my kids are on their device, and then when they're on their device, what apps they're actually using, how long they're spending messaging friends, how long they're on Netflix. It also allows me to set parameters around things that they can and can't search for or view. So if you don't want your child to have access to something like Snapchat, you're able to set that so that they cannot access that. There's also content control that will allow you to stop them from deleting messages or apps, which we would hope our children wouldn't do, but we don't necessarily know what is incoming. So it will stop them from deleting incoming things so we can have those real conversations with our children about things that they're viewing on their phone and seeing whether it's intended or not intended. And then the next one is Bark. So I love Bark as well. Bark is great because unlike screen time, which they have a lot of same features, but Bark is going to send you alerts. So if your child hears a term at school or baseball and they go home and search that term and it's not appropriate, you're going to get a text. And it's going to take a screenshot of what they had typed, and it will send it to your phone. Both screen time and Bark allows you to turn off the ability for them to turn off features like cellular data, which allows you to track their location. So it's got some of those awesome features too, but the big thing with Bark is the alerts that you're going to get as a parent. So things like mental health. If a child is Googling things like suicide, those things are going to come to your phone as well. If they're looking at images, the image will come to your phone if it scans it and realizes it's inappropriate. So these really help put the safeguards into place. And I know sometimes our kids do not want us to track them. They don't feel like we trust them. But it goes beyond that. For me, it also goes into homework. So if you tell me that you need your phone to Google different terms and things to do your homework, then I can see how much time you're actually spending Googling things or what you're Googling. So I know, okay, if your grades are dropping, you're spending too much time on other things on your device rather than what was intended. So it really puts in an array of parameters. The next one I'll talk about is Circle. Circle is for your home internet. So it's going to plug directly into your modem. And if you have a maybe 13-year-old like I do and they think they're clever and they want extra time and they unplug Circle, it will send you an alert that it's been unplugged, which my son is not a fan of. But Circle is very helpful for things like gaming and your smart TVs, things that we wouldn't necessarily have direct access to. So it will allow you to save the history, view the history of all of the devices connected to your internet. so that helps with the gaming and stuff. But you set those in categories. So I have a circle for my son, my daughter, and myself. So when it's bedtime, circle automatically shuts off at 9 o'clock. So they cannot access their smart TVs or their games or those things. And for me, I use it in combination with screen time, so all devices are shut off at 9 o'clock, which is very nice. It also allows you to reward them with additional time if you want to add time to a specific circle, which is nice as well. It also works out well for me because I don't have to call them down for dinner. I yell at them to come down. They don't come. I just press pause on the internet, and they come right downstairs. So outside on the resource table, along with where you signed in, there's a QR code. And that QR code, along with this QR code, will give you live links to the resources that we're going to talk about, along with Pastor Dion's resources. So he's going to give you some book resources, and then these are the technology resources, but it's going to be all live links on the QR code. Thank you, guys.